It's new windshield day here at Road Reality. Welcome back to the channel, my friend. If you're new here, I'm a motovlogger, and I need good audio, and I need a little bit of wind protection. And before you go all keyboard commando and you type in the comments, but motorcycles, you're supposed to feel the wind. I get that, but when you're really putting down the miles, you want something that is gonna protect you from some of the wind, some of the rain, etc., etc. So I reached out to Freedom Shields, and they were kind enough to send me this windshield. They're not seeing this before you are. Let's just be clear. They don't have access to my videos, and anything I review, I will always tell you how I got it, whether it was shipped to me or I paid for it, and what I find good, what I find bad, and the company doesn't have any input on what I say. You can ask my wife, nobody can tell me what to say. I was just recently saying that I needed a shorter windshield, so we're gonna take a look at it, we're gonna test it out. I'm gonna use my patented, not patented, testing technique to test it on my 2019 Street Glide there. So let's get this box open. It says no blades. So I have a handy dandy panel tool, panel popper, and I'm gonna leave a link to these to Amazon in the video description below. They're great for stuff like this and a multitude of uses around the house. I don't know if it's gonna cut through that gaffer's tape though. We're gonna find out. But I can just punch right through the tape there. My information is under here. Oh, packing peanuts, oh geez. Freedom Shields is a Colorado-based company and make these things to order. They are very nice people on the phone. They help me measure for the right size windshield that I need based on my height and inseam and all that other stuff and firstborn. And look at that, I got a thank you card. It's the 8-inch model. Look at all the packing peanuts. My goodness, I'm outside. How am I gonna not make a mess and still do this? This is ridiculous. I found the windshield. Can I do this? Nope, I just spilled a couple. All right, so we bring these up here like this. Oh, that looks nice. I like it. I like it already. I will go through all of this later off camera to make sure there's nothing else in the package. But there, we're not making an environmental hazard. Let's take a look at the shield. Windshield care, they want you to use plexus. Feel free to mount it and take a short ride. Leave the protective plastic on the shield, okay. I don't know how you're supposed to do that, guys. I'm gonna have to punch holes through that. You know what? I'm just gonna remove the plastic. I gotta stop myself there. That is a really cool thing to basically have a built-in demo program with their product. That is stellar. Usually us Harley riders, we go to our local dealer and they might have a demo program for seats or windshields or whatever, but this company will ship you one and let you return it if it's not right. You know what? I have a feeling it's gonna be right. All the back and forth I went through with those guys to get the measurements right, and I want it to be securely mounted. And I'm gonna stick with it for a while. Like all of my gear reviews, I tend to come back 6 months or a year later and tell you how it's working, so we're gonna do that with this one too. Now, while I was on the phone with the guys, they were telling me Colorado-based, like I mentioned before, but that they hand inspect each windshield. And I'm gonna show you something interesting that I've seen in a couple other reviews, but if you're watching this one, you don't have to go watch the other ones. You can see me and the way I do things. This plastic is on here good. We're just doing it. We're gonna keep it. I already made the decision. I like how it looks. And this is the light smoke tint. So now you see me, now you don't. No, now you see me, now you don't. Hey, there we go. But look at these edges. Now the camera's not gonna focus well on the edges. So I'm gonna try to get some close-ups later. But these edges are so nicely, I want to say honed, but they're just beveled. Yeah, beveled's a good word. Oh, that is slick. And this is thick. This is several millimeters thick. And before we mount it, just want to mention this bit, this right here, this is the touring bit. It flares out to the side. It's supposed to be nicer. So, of course, I forgot to, leave the film on before I installed it, and that one needs to come off. So let's go take that one off. I'll protect this one in the meantime. It is never a dull moment when I go to install a part, but we need some tools. And by tools, you need a socket. There you go, T27 Torx bit. Simple. Everybody should have one of these. Let's go get the other windshield off. All we need to do is remove this bolt, and that bolt, and this windshield will come off. If you watched my Memphis Shades videos, you'll know that it's not fully captured by the bolts. I'll show you in a second. I'm gonna try not to turn this into a windshield comparison 100%, but anybody that knows me and been watching the channel a while knows that I do a lot of comparison stuff. The middle one is longer than the rest. Keep that in your back pocket for knowledge. We have a wedge-shaped panel popper tool. It actually could come in handy here just to give me a little bit of grip behind the outer fairing. And then I can use it to pop this side out too without damaging anything. Look, tools, the right tool for the job. Bye-bye. All right, I said I wasn't gonna do a comparison, but this is the Memphis Shades 8.5, and this is the, I'm watching my camera back there. It's really precarious. It's on one of those cheap wheel chock deals. Anyway, this is the new Mamma Jamma, the Freedom Shields Touring. I'm not gonna touch these two, but you can see, it looks like there's more spoiler to the Memphis Shades. Yeah, there you go. And it's a little bit taller, just a little bit. Huh, interesting. That's a big spoil. Look at that. That's just like really indented there. Can you see that? That looks neat, right? It's focusing on me. Hold on. Yeah, see the spoil? To the victor go the spoils. Yeah, all that. And then we have this bad boy. So let's go slot this one in. Gonna need this. She looks naked with no windshield. We're gonna put our panel popper tool in, pry out, allow this to just settle down into place. Do the same thing on this side. Gently working the panel out until that works, the fairing. Now she's in place, time to bolt it back in. We're gonna start with the long middle one. Start it by hand so we don't cross thread it. There we go. It's just barely snug. Now let's do the other two. Okay, now that they're hand tight, we're gonna swap out for the wrench here, the socket. And we're gonna tighten them down. And you're just looking to get them snug, not, you know, super duper tight. You don't want to crack it. Ta-da, now she's on. That looks pretty good. Let's take a closer look at it from, you know, around. So a couple of things I've already noticed. The touring model flaring out past the edges of where a normal windshield would go. I think it's gonna keep some of the wind off my shoulders, which will be nice on the highway. And it probably doesn't make a lick of difference, but see the slot? Yeah, I'm a fan of just the hole that's drilled in there instead of the keyhole. And I don't know, maybe it's a little more secure, maybe not. And already I can tell that because there's not as big of a bend right here in this windshield like the Memphis Shades had that we looked at earlier, I can see more clearly through it, and it seems to be a little bit lighter. Oh, the beveling on this just feels super premium. I love that. And this coming out, these touring flares coming out here, they just, they look good. I think they fit the styling of the 2019 Street Glide, and I guess all the way to 23. I don't know. What are you riding? Leave me a comment below. What are you riding right now? Look at that. You can see my hand through there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, ooh, magic. But it's definitely lower. It's noticeably lower. I think my Memphis Shades came up to like here, and this one comes to here. It even has a DOT number on it. I don't remember seeing that on the other one. It's time to go take this thing for a test ride, right? Let's go do that. Okay, haha, we are testing out. Oh, all right. That's exciting. I have to pay attention. Anyway, we're testing out the Freedom Shields touring windshield for the Project Rushmore touring bikes. And so far, I have a few riding impressions. I've already had it up to highway speed. I've already had it at lower speed. And you can really feel the air bubble here at the shoulders. It's kind of nice. I like it. It definitely is lower, so I can tell that. My initial impression sitting on the bike when it was parked has come to fruition, my friends, as has coffee. Have you had your coffee today? Ah, coffee, 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 coffee. Woohoo! Yahoo! Oh man, this is nice. I can definitely tell a difference between the two windshields, and I rather like this one. Even at like highway speed, I wasn't getting a ton of buffeting like right here and in here. It was just very comfortable, and I'm gonna show that later on in this test. But right now, I just want to give you my first impressions after having ridden for a few miles with the windshield on the bike. The bike does feel a little bit smaller. Kind of like I said with that 6.5-inch Memphis shades installed, the bike felt more nimble. It's definitely a psychological thing that goes into this, where the taller windshield just feels like I'm riding a big bike that should be upright, and so should I. But now it feels more nimble, and I'm like, yeah, my brain is like, lean that son of a gun over. I was gonna use a different word there, but that would not be appropriate. Yep. As for the width of the windshield, it will take a little bit of getting used to. I like it, don't get me wrong, I like it. It's a lot wider than I'm used to, but I really think the style of this windshield and its overall shape fits the Street Glide aesthetic better than the sort of squared off one I had. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, so it's gotta make sense to somebody. But it is kind of funny to look out and just see so much width to this thing. All right, I got a funny one for you. I'm putting my hand right here, okay? It's in this bubble. I feel like no wind at all in this area. There's a little bit of wind here where this vent is open, right? If I close the vent, no air there. There's no air in this bubble. I don't feel any wind. And what am I doing? 35 mile an hour. The wind bubble starts like right here. Hello, Lieutenant. Yeah, it's like the perfect height. And I am having no problem seeing straight ahead, even when I have to go up a hill. I can see through this windshield and it is very clear. Not having that sharp crease that the Memphis shades had means this line right here is not so distorted. It's just there's barely any distortion from here to here. And I think that's a wonderful thing. It's just pristine airflow. So I'm loving that part of it. All right, we're doing 60 miles an hour, which is pretty much highway speed, right? Nobody speeds on the highway. And at 60 with the vent closed, as you can see, I have a little bit of wind buffeting, but when I open it, it smooths out nicely and the wind bubble is way up here. Hell yeah. I'm loving this windshield. Been riding for a couple hours with it now, and it is pretty slick. I like it a lot. Not having the wind on my shoulders is a big bonus. Passing cars aren't as big of a problem either. Watch this. Nothing. A truck drove by and I could feel a little bit of breeze from it, but nothing like the older one. The wings here, the touring things, they really, I think, help make a big difference with the vehicles going the other direction. Dito bandito, my friend. I don't know why I said it that way. We're gonna roll with it. And here we are at 70 miles an hour. And this thing is really nice on the highway. There is no wind hitting my shoulders. It's just barely grazing them. Very, very comfortable. I've been on the highway for about a half an hour. Normally, the bike wants to move around a little bit when cars pass by and things like that, but not today. Not with the Freedom Shields. So I'm rather a fan. Time for coffee. Coffee. All right, it is very windy. We have a lot of side winds. Yes, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds today. And I'm in tree line now, but it's gonna get ugly here in a second when I pop out into an opening and I catch that awful, awful side wind. Oh, boo-hoo. I'm not crying, you're crying. Yep, there it is. There's the side wind. I felt it. It hit the bike. The bike's like, I don't care. New windshield is just shrugging it off, as it were. How's the audio with all this wind? And we're doing close to 50 miles an hour. Woohoo! Oh yeah, good times. Earlier I could see the trees were bending over. It was kind of crazy town. Crazy town, crazy time, something. Hey look, I got a rain test. There is some rain obviously hitting my visor, but the Freedom Shields is doing a good job of generally keeping the rain off my face, at least at 45 miles an hour. Now, if the guy in front of me could figure out where he's going, that would be great. But hey, oh my gosh, he goes from making a left to making a right. I hope he actually turns. Even at 60, not a whole lot of rain hitting my face. Gotta love it. Yeah, this thing's doing, it's doing pretty good. It's about on par with the other windshields I have owned as far as the rain protection. Rain's just gonna do what it's gonna do. Hopefully you have more than a visor like me. And And I had to stop for coffee, so now's a good a time as any to wrap up this video. You saw the install, you heard my notes, I've analyzed everything, I've got a bunch of seat time with the new windshield, and really, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's an improvement over the Memphis shades that I had on there, and I'm gonna keep running this one. This is pretty nice. The only nitpick I really have is that it took me 2 weeks to get, but I understand that. They're made to order. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, you'll probably like this one over here. And don't forget your 2 mantras and like the video. 1, you have a 100% track record of making it through a bad day. And 2, do something nice for yourself every day. John out.